Hello, my friend. Welcome to the Believe You Are a Good Mom podcast. I'm Emily Wardrop from Drop the Word Life Coaching, where we help moms of young kids drop power struggle wars to create more peace in their parenting. Do you want to be a good mom? I will tell you the one simple secret of how to be a good mom. You already are. Don't believe me? You've come to the right place. I'm glad you're here. I've got you. Because when you truly believe you are a good mom, everything will change for you as you live into the truth of who you've always been. Let's get started. All right. Good morning, my friends. Thank you so much for listening. I have a very important message for you today. This is what I want to just scream from the rooftops for all the moms in all the world to hear and believe and really internalize. This is the message, my friends. So after you listen to this podcast, I hope that something shifts and changes for you. And then will you share it with all of your friends and family and sisters and all the moms? We all need to stop lying to ourselves. Okay? This is the message. Stop lying to yourself. Okay? So our beautiful brains have 60,000 thoughts a day. How many of those thoughts that you thought yesterday are you aware of? What were you telling yourself in your own mind? And how many of those thoughts are you believing and acting on? And it's creating your experience of this life. Scientists have calculated this, right? They say that we have 60,000 thoughts a day. And there's a percentage that they've come up with of how many of those thoughts are subconscious thoughts, right? And how many of those thoughts do we actually believe? Okay, I can't remember the percentages, but it's a lot. Okay, so a lot of those 60,000 thoughts are subconscious, of course, because we can't sit here being aware of that many thoughts. We also have to do other things in our day besides just realize what we're thinking, right? And so that's the way our amazing brain works. It's got default programming that it just subconsciously is running the show. But if you have results in your life that you don't like, then we got to get more awareness of those thoughts and decide on purpose whether we want to believe them or whether our thoughts are lying to us. Okay? So you do not have to believe every thought that crosses your mind. This I want you to hear and really understand what this means. All because you thought something doesn't mean that it's true. What? So our brains come up with a bunch of crazy stuff to think, and it doesn't mean that it's all true. A lot of the thoughts that your brain is coming up with are lies. They're not true, and we need to get awareness of them and manage them in order to create the optimal life experience that we're looking for. Okay? So all because you thought it doesn't mean it's true. So the process, the secret sauce is to get awareness of your thoughts, consciously think them, and decide whether you want to consciously put them back into your brain, right? So one of the tools we use to do this is a thought download. We call it, or a thought dump, or a whatever, stream of conscious journaling is what it is. Okay. So you get out a piece of paper and you get out a pen and you just start writing whatever comes to mind. So you're dumping out all of the thoughts from your brain onto paper so that you can consciously see them. And then you can decide which ones you want to, on purpose, intentionally put back into your brain. Okay. Because a lot of those thoughts are lies. And this is what we're working on today. Stop lying to yourself. Okay. So let's take it back to the point of this podcast, right? You are a good mom. And we are trying to work on believing that, because your brain on default is going to give you a bunch of lies that are nonsense. They're not true. They're not useful. And we're ready to get awareness of them, decide on purpose that they're not true, and stop believing them. Okay. So when the milk is expired and your husband sends you a picture and says, "Did no one say that the milk tasted weird this morning? Because this expired 4 days ago, and we have 3 jugs of milk out in the fridge." Um, you don't have to be feeding the kids expired milk. Now, what does your brain tell you when that happens? uh, this is not a hypothetical situation, right? This happened this week. And in the text that my husband sent me about the milk, he reminded me at the end, "And you are still a good mom." So before my brain even had a chance to make it mean that I was a bad mom, he was already reminding me because he knows that that's the default programming of our brains, right? Because that's my whole jam, right? That no matter what, we always add the tagline, "And I am still a good mom." So my brain didn't even go there this time. Hooray for reprogramming brains. I was just like, "Oh, whoops. Okay. Sorry. Nobody said it tasted weird. I'm not checking expiration dates every time I pull the milk out of the fridge. Sorry." And everyone's fine, right? No need to lie to myself. No need to make it mean a bunch of stuff that it doesn't mean. Because that's what we tend to do, right? Whatever the circumstance is, our kid is screaming, "I hate you and I want a new mom." That may or may not have been happening last night at bedtime. Right? It does not mean that you're a terrible mom because your child's unmanaged, they don't even have a prefrontal cortex developed yet in their brain. Their crazy, lost their mind, overtired brain is coming up with a bunch of lies. We don't have to believe their lies. We don't have to believe the lies that our overtired, overstimulated brain is going to come up with either. Okay. So the work is to get awareness, right? My AAA batteries. First, we get awareness of our thoughts and then acceptance. We're not trying to judge them. Once you dump all your thoughts out on that paper, and even in the act of writing it, don't censor yourself. Don't judge it and not write it down because you think there's something wrong with that thought. There's not anything wrong with it. Even though we are trying to discern between truth and lies here, it doesn't mean that it's good or bad. It's just a thought. So just get it out of your brain with all the awareness, all the acceptance of that awareness. Okay. And then we're going to live in alignment is the third AAA battery, right? So once we have awareness of the thoughts without judgment, then we can go into alignment and decide which ones are useful, which thoughts are actually true, and then we're going to stop lying to ourselves. Okay. So whatever it is that happened, your kid is screaming, "I hate you and I want a new mom. And I am still a good mom," right? And and if your brain's trying to make it mean that you're a bad mom, then that is the lie that we are trying to stop believing. Okay. Because for some reason, our default brains are very prone to shame and they like to make everything mean that there's something wrong with us. But that is the lie, my friends. Shame is a lie. So stop lying to yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not hopelessly flawed. You do not need to be fixed. You are just a human being. And that gets tricky. Okay. So you're not bad. You are good. And we have lots of thoughts that are lies. So let's stop believing them. Okay. All right. So let's dig in deeper. How, right? It's always about the, okay, that's nice, Emily, but how? How do I stop lying to myself? So I already gave you the framework. The AAA batteries is the secret framework to the universe. Okay. So once we get awareness of our thoughts, right? So one way to get awareness of our thoughts is to just write it all down, right? So take the time, it's just a couple minutes to just spiel it all out of your brain onto the paper. Now you have awareness of what you're even thinking. Because if a huge percentage of those 60,000 thoughts are subconscious, then they are just running in the background. So our very efficient brains have these thought patterns that they're just in the habit of thinking, making things mean stuff that is a lie, but it's controlling us. So our thoughts are driving our feelings, right? Our thoughts are causing our feelings. So if we're feeling terrible all day, that's probably because we're lying to ourselves all day. And the thoughts that we're thinking are causing feelings that do not feel good for a reason, right? Because we're starting to learn more about how to listen to our bodies, our sacred bodies we talked about, a couple podcasts ago, our body is the user manual to this earth life. So our emotions are giving us a signal of what we need to know. They're giving us clues into what is going on in our head, right? So sometimes if you don't have the awareness of the thoughts, then perhaps you're more aware of the feelings. So if you are feeling crappy all day long, it's because your brain is feeding you lies and you're believing them. Okay. So like I said, shame is a lie, right? So I'm starting to experiment with the idea that we have some emotions that are more godly than others, right? And so Jesus lived an earthly life also, just like us, right? He needed to take on this mortal tabernacle also. And so he felt everything that we feel, right? And so he's felt it all. But he also, in a mind-blowingly way, was perfect. So we don't really know what that means exactly. But we do know that he's felt everything we feel as humans. Okay. So he's felt all the emotions. And so I subscribe to the idea that no emotions are bad, right? They're just emotions. They feel bad and they're giving us a message that is there's something that we need to look into, right? But that the feeling itself is not good or bad, like morally, right? And so it's okay to feel even angry or resentful or jealous or whatever. Like there's feelings that feel bad in the body, but it's not because they're bad, and that we need to like stay in higher vibration emotions all the time. Like we're just not going to do that in our mortal state. We're not just going to sit around feeling zen, happy, peace, relaxed, joyful, peaceful love all the time, right? We'd like to, and maybe that's the goal, but to get a full experience, right, you have to experience the bitter in order to understand the sweet, right? And so that's how I used to think about emotions. And now I'm kind of experimenting with the thought that maybe some of them are more, well, obviously some emotions are more useful than others because our emotions drive our actions. We'll get there. But hold on, let's stay on emotions for one more second. So for instance, like I'm always saying, guilt is a useful emotion because it shows us that we are good and we've done something out of alignment with who we are. So you are good. God is good. God created you. He said it is very good. We're good. Okay. That's why I can with certainty say that you are a good mom because you are good. You are a good person. You are a good human being and you are a human being in this life going through this mortal experience. And that's why it gets a little bit tricky to believe that sometimes. But it's true. You are good. So guilt says that you did something that wasn't good. And since you are good, then you feel a little dissonance there. And that's what the guilt is. So guilt is a useful emotion that, like I said, our body is giving us a message. So the body is letting us know you just did something that's out of alignment with who you truly are. Okay. And so guilt is good, but shame is a lie. And so I'm not sure whether Jesus felt shame. I don't know if there are emotions that are less godly because shame is a soured version of guilt. And what Satan does is he uses good, true principles and flips them on their side a little bit so that you'll believe it, but they're actual lies. Okay. So the message that shame is giving you is that there's something wrong with you. And that is a lie. There is nothing wrong with you. God created you. You are good. And you did something out of alignment with who you are, but that doesn't mean that you are bad. Okay. So shame is a lie. So when you feel shame in your body, it's different. It's not like it feels bad, but in like, they call it clean pain versus dirty pain, right? And so there's a little bit of clean pain there where you do something out of alignment, you want to feel guilty, but once it sours, right? You know how that feels? So even like resentment is giving you a message that you have some needs that haven't been met. Okay. But then it sours into like that shame blame trap, right? Like where we're blaming other people for not meeting our needs. That's a lie because what our body is truly telling us, the message that we're trying to receive from our soul, right, is that we have needs. and they need to be met. And that's great. That's a good message that we need to get. We need to understand what our needs are and figure out how to meet them. But we don't need to be blaming anyone or anything for that. That is a lie. So this is the work that we're trying to do. We're trying to figure out what is the message that our body is giving us through these emotions. What are the thoughts that are causing those? Are those thoughts true or are they not true? Okay, we're trying to discern, right, between good and evil, between truth and lies, right? So, how do you know? How do you know? Well, let's keep working down the model, right? So we're trying to decide if our thoughts are lies. We're trying to decide if our feelings are lies. Well, let's look at the action line because our thoughts create a feeling in our body and our feelings are what's driving our actions. So we're all very aware of the action line. And that's where everyone wants to start. I want to stop yelling at my kids. I want to start eating more healthy. I want to feed my kids more healthy. I want to exercise more. I want to set up a routine and stick to it. I want to potty train my kid, whatever it is, whatever parenting problem you're having, it's like 99% of the time it's an action line thing that people are coming for help with, right? But the action line is not where we get any sort of traction. We have to back it back up and figure out what are the thoughts and feelings that are driving those actions, right? But because we're very aware already, right? Because the first step is awareness of the actions, then we could start there. So if we're trying to discern between good and not good, we're trying to pick out the lies, right? Are you doing things that are out of alignment with who you are? Let's get awareness of it because sometimes we're so bogged down in shame. Shame is all about hiding, right? So we're not even aware of it. We're doing things unconsciously. A really good example of this happens with weight loss. So I'm doing a self-love weight loss coaching package now. And in this coaching program, right? Like we have to get awareness of our actions that are causing the results that we don't want, right? So we may have a bunch of extra weight we've put onto our body because usually what happens, one of the main action lines is to go unconscious and just eat whatever you want, right? And so a really easy tool of unconsciousness is like eating with programming, right? Like we're eating popcorn at the movie theater. We're eating dinner in front of the TV. We're eating while we're watching something or reading something or doing something else, right? Like we just are constantly trying to multitask nowadays. Or maybe we're just eating while the kids are eating, or we're eating off of their plate, or we're eating while we're cooking, or we're eating while we're cleaning, or, there's just, it's unconscious because we're doing so many things at one time that we can literally only like have conscious thought about one thing at a time. But then our efficient, amazing, and overworked and overstimulated brains are like doing a million things all at once, right? And so we go unconscious even of actions. And so we have to get awareness of our actions. And this is one interesting area where it's really obvious that we've gone unconscious, but we can do it in any area. Like if we're, we're all here trying to be better moms, right? Trying to believe that we are a good mom. And what does a good mom do, right? Because when I ask you, what kind of mom do you want to be? The answer that I always get is what kind of mom you want to do, right? You have a big, long list of expectations of yourself, of the action line, of the things that you want to do or stop doing. We're very aware of that, but we need to become aware of the things we're not aware of. Like sometimes we're so steeped in shame of the way we're showing up that we're doing it, but we're really like not even that aware of the fact that we're doing it. Like maybe we're just snippy with our kids because we're just, like I said, overworked, overstimulated, over everything, over it. And so every single thing that the kids do or say or interrupt, right, us, we get really irritated, right? So we're snippy like all the time. And we do it so efficiently, like our brains are so efficient. They're just used to that thought pattern, used to that action, that we've lost awareness of it. It's like my kid will remind me and she'll be like, you don't have to be so rude to me. And I'm like, oh goodness, I didn't even realize I was like being so rude. I'm just like stuck in this rude pattern, right? And so literally our actions even need some awareness sometimes because we're just doing the best we can and there's a lot going on and all the things, right? And so awareness of every single piece of the model is the first step. So not even just awareness of our thoughts, also awareness of our feelings and what are they trying to tell us, and is it a lie or not, and the actions. Like sometimes we are lying in our actions because our kids are misinterpreting our actions. Why are you so rude to me all the time? I want a new mom. Blah, 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 blah. Like this is so unfair. Like the things that she's telling me, I need to get awareness of them and not just brush them off. Like that is her experience that she's having, and she's having it for a reason. She is interpreting my thoughts, feelings, and actions and making it mean something that is a lie, because what she's making it mean is that I don't love her. And that is a full on lie. Yes, of course I love her. Of course you love your children. But love is a feeling that we're not always feeling. We're feeling all the feelings, right? And so we have to get awareness of what our lies, our actions are telling, okay? Even telling ourselves and telling our kids and telling everyone around us. Okay, so we have to stop lying to ourselves in the action line also, and lying to the world, because when I'm annoyed and snippy at my kids all day long, I'm lying to them. I'm telling them that they're a hassle, that they're bugging me, that I can't handle the whining, that like all the things. And those are lies. Like my brain believes them and is running that default programming, but they're not true. It's not true. The eternal truth is that they are good, I'm good, and we are all love. And I love them, and they are love, and I am love. But that's not the model that we're acting out of usually. So we have to get awareness of it without the judgment, just awareness, acceptance, and then we can go into aligned, loving models. And that is the goal, right? To live into the truth of who we really are. So stop lying to yourself. Remember the old thing. Before you say anything, you have to ask yourself, is it true? Is it kind? Is it useful? And if any of those answers are no, then don't say it. Right? So we have to do that with all of the areas of the model, right? So are your thoughts true? Are they kind? Are they useful? So stop thinking them if they're not, right? Which is easier said than done. But of course, all of this is what we work on in coaching, right? Because it's kind of a lot, right? And it's very introspective. And so it's a lot easier for a coach from the outside to look at in on what's going on in your brain than it is for your own brain to see its own things, because it's so steeped in just doing it all the time. So, we don't have too many more minutes left here, so let's just touch on this real quick. So I am is a very powerful statement. Those are the tiny little words just made out of a couple little letters that God himself describes himself. He is the great I am, right? So when we use those powerful words with lies, then we're tapped into the other power that's not his. Okay. So let's not use God's name in vain, right? I am good. That is true. That is a fact. And he's good. We're good. It's all good. When we use I am with lies, like I am rude, I am mean, I am a terrible mom, those are lies. And we're giving power to adversary. Okay. We need to give God the glory. He created us. We are good. We're made in his image. And you are not your thoughts. You are not your feelings. You are not your actions. Okay. So when you say I'm impatient, that's a lie. There's no such thing as an impatient. Like it's a feeling. So all I have to do is add in the quick little word feel. I am feeling, or I feel, right? Not I am. It's not an identity. Okay. Your identity just is like you are who you are. And you feel feelings and you think thoughts, and lots of them are subconscious and lots of them are lies, and it's all good, right? But we're just trying to get awareness of it so that we can live in alignment with who we truly are. So when you say that you are something that's not true, you're taking the Lord's name in vain and you're giving all the power to Satan. So let's stop doing that, okay? So you're not your thoughts. You know how we have some cray thoughts go through our head sometimes. Just watch them float by, right? Like the clouds. And or like the river. I really love walking up and down the river now, and just watch how the river just goes on by. So lots of these thoughts, they can just go on by. We don't have to glom onto them, believe them like they're the gospel truth, because they are not. They are lies. And it's going to happen. Okay. We're going to have weird, crazy thoughts that are not true. Just let them go on by. Don't give them that much power over your life. Right. So we're just going to get awareness of them, not judge them, just let them float on by. Okay. Same with your feelings. You are not your feelings. I feel angry right now. That's okay. It's just a feeling. No big deal. Once you take it on as an identity, then it's a problem, because it's a lie. You are not angry. Angry is not a thing. You're not the little red fiery guy in your brain from inside out, right? You are good and you feel feelings, and that's okay. So don't identify with the feelings. They don't define you. They are just feelings. Okay. And same with your actions. It's a big one. I'm a yeller. Have you heard that? You are not a yeller. You are a mom that's having a really hard time, and you have emotions that you don't know what to do with. And the easiest way to get them out of your body is to just yell them out. It's fine. That's just a coping mechanism that we use. And yeah, there are actions that have results that we don't want, but we cannot change our results by beating ourselves up about our actions, about our feelings, or about our thoughts. So we have to have that acceptance piece, that unconditional love and acceptance of ourselves to change. That's the only way to change. I promise. You cannot beat yourself up better. You can only love yourself into change. So if there's anything that you need to change, whether it be your thoughts, your feelings, or your actions, it's all going to come from starting with loving and accepting yourself, loving and accepting your kids, loving and accepting your husband, loving and accepting your in-laws, loving and accepting your neighbors, wherever it is that you're having a hard time in any of these areas. It all starts with loving and accepting of what is. When we argue with reality, we lose every time. So stop lying to yourself, my friend. It's just full on not true that you're a bad mom. That's a lie. You are a good mom. So remind yourself every single time that your brain wants to tell you a lie. Nope, that's a lie. The truth is, I am a good mom, and I am having a hard time right now, and I am feeling whatever, but don't identify with those feelings or those actions or even those thoughts, because they're all just thoughts, feelings, actions, whatever. That's just all part of this mortal life. But who you truly are, your eternal, perfect, wonderful, complete self, the beautiful oak tree that we're all growing into. You don't look at the little acorn and be like, you're such a terrible oak tree, because that's a lie. It sounds ridiculous when you look at it that way. So that's how ridiculous it is that you're telling yourself these lies. Okay. You are good. I promise. And if you're not acting good right now, that's because we have some work to do, and that's okay. We're all going to have work to do our whole lives. No one expected us to be perfect moms. Okay. We're all just good moms doing the best we can, improving every day. So when I tell you the truth that you are a good mom, what are all the yeah buts you come up with? Yeah, but I did this. Yeah, but I feel that. Yeah, but I think this. That's all it is. It's thoughts, feelings, and actions that are not aligned with who you truly are. And we can get there. Okay. So let's do this work together. Go to dropthewar.com to learn more and to get a hold of me so that we can work on it together. Because like I said, a coach from the outside looking in, it's so much easier. And it's so much easier for me to look at your stuff without judgment, right? For some reason, like that shame factor is really strong. And so it's a little bit harder. Like when you do that thought dump and get it out on paper, is the acceptance piece is a lot harder when it's for ourselves. But I have a superpower of loving and accepting you and not judging your thought dump. So we just get on a Zoom call. You tell me all the things without censoring it. And then I can help you with that step of loving and accepting yourself, even when you're believing all those lies. It's okay. Your brain has been in a pattern of believing those lies. So it makes sense. And I can help you rewire your brain. It's so fun. So go to dropthewar.com/appointments, pick the free RBC option, and we can chat for free and start rewiring that brain. Start believing that you are a good mom. Let's believe the truth and stop lying to ourselves. Okay. Love you, friends. Talk to you next time. Bye. Hi, thanks so much for listening. Have you signed up for your RBC yet? What is an RBC? Well, it's a relationship boost call, and I am gifting 365 of these for free this year. So go to dropthewar.com/appointments to find a time that works for both of us. We'll hop on Zoom for a quick 15 to 20 minutes, and all you got to do is have somebody in mind that you want to improve your relationship with. It's fun, it's easy, it's a good time. You're going to feel amazing afterwards, and no strings attached. Just come on, have a great free coaching call, and then go on your way. And you can come back for as many as you need, because we know it's no one and done around here with relationships. So go to dropthewar.com/appointments to find a time that works for both of us, and let's get boosting those relationships. See you there. Bye.